Hey, quick question. Did you know I'm the Knight Rider?
No, I did not.
Well, I am the Knight Rider! Hello, everybody. This is ProtoBalls Talk.
And today we will be talking about 2021. Or as it was released in Australia, Mad Max.
Yeah. 2021? What? I thought it was 2020.
Oh, you didn't hear?
No. Were we a year late?
No. No, we'll be talking about the Australian film Mad Max, which has gained quite a bit of popularity since its initial release, largely in part to its sequels. But we'll be talking about the first film, and if I recall correctly, I believe this was Mel Gibson's debut film. Or at least the one that made him famous. So, yeah. Let's just get this out of the way. Fuck current Mel Gibson.
Yeah, but Mel Gibson's fucking crazy.
Old Mel Gibson, or not old Mel Gibson, young Mel Gibson, he was okay. But current old
young Mel Gibson was an okay actor. Let's put it that way. The fact that the Mad Max series is what he was best known for outside of Braveheart
and Lethal Weapon,
but I don't even think he's that great in that.
I've never seen him, so. But that's kind of what pops into mind outside of Mad Max.
Yeah. Long story short, Mel Gibson had an okay career for himself in some big movies.
And then he flushed it down the toilet.
And then Passion of the Christ came out, and we all found out what he's really like. And yeesh indeed. Those of you who don't know who Mel Gibson is, and Mad Max, first off, come on, we're talking about Mad Max.
Yeah.
And second of all, dude is a fucking racist,
sexist, misogynist. That's the same word, Lucas. I know. It's called homonyms.
Most of all, though, he's, what's the word? Anti-Jewish.
Anti-Semitic?
Anti-Semitic, that's the word.
He's racist, misogynistic, and anti-Semitic.
So, yeah. Dude's fucking insane.
Yeah.
There was a South Park episode about him.
Yep.
I remember this.
I vaguely recall it myself.
And it was right after Passion of the Christ came
Yep.
out. We're not talking about Passion of the Christ, but I think it's just interesting to bring up because it is, everybody used to say it was the most controversial movie of all time. And you watch it now and you're like, it's just a bad movie. There's been far more controversial movies as of late. Get Out being one of them. I think it's a very controversial movie, but not for the reasons you would think.
So it's controversial in a good way.
It's controversial in a good way.
Okay. But we're not talking about Get Out or Passion of the Christ. We're talking about Mad Max.
A Mad Max, a movie that has nothing to do with the sequels.
It does, but
it doesn't. It fucking doesn't.
Okay, so I feel I should address the elephant in the room regarding the Mad Max movies. This first movie does not do a good job of setting the tone of the later films. This first movie is set in what can be generously called an anarchic dystopia.
It's not a complete utter apocalypse. It's not a complete apocalyptic desert like the sequels.
Yeah, the more famous sequels are known for being set in post-apocalyptic desert wastelands.
I will say, I don't think it's necessarily a post-apocalyptic wasteland. It's just the outback in Australia.
Fair point.
What's
the difference?
True. I'm sure my Australian friends would tell me, no, there's not much difference. Because what is it? There's a
There is so much stuff in Australia that is just seemingly designed to kill you.
Yeah, Australia's a saw death trap placed on land. It's just a continent of saw death traps. That said, The reason this movie visually has nothing similar at all, because whereas the other movies are placed in the desert or the outback, depending on your interpretation,
in what are ostensibly wastelands.
Right. This one is clearly the
early stages of the post-apocalypse.
It's more like the rural areas.
Yeah,
of Australia.
there is a lot of vegetation that is clearly visible. So
it's clearly placed in the urban rural areas, the habitable areas of Australia. Let's go with that.
Yeah, and it really does not look like an apocalypse has happened recently. Sure, there's rampant chaos and anarchy, but everybody else seems to just be going about their business and wearing casual clothes and not, hockey and football gear and hockey masks and crossbows on their forearms. It's not Fist of the North Star, is what I'm saying. Which is completely irrelevant because, as we will talk about when we talk about the next movie in the series, which that is what inspired the look of Fist of the North Star.
The Road Warrior and Beyond Thunderdome are much closer to Fist of the North Star than Mad Men.
Now I'm curious as to when Beyond Thunderdome came out in relation to Fist of the North Star.
Thunderdome came out in '87, I believe. Give me a second. Don't quote me on that.
But if that is true, I believe Fist of the North Star came out earlier than that.
Yeah, Fist of the North Star came out in '84.
It was definitely after the Road Warrior, because you can tell with some of those early...
'85. Thunderdome came out in '85, so it was just after Fist of the North Star started being made.
So, tonally, this film looks quite a bit different compared to the others. So when you go...
Also, it's a lot more boring.
That's entirely true.
I mean, the action scenes are like
the action scenes are the best parts of the movie. It's kind of the rest of the movie that's the problem.
Yeah. You know what? I think that might actually be a common theme in the Mad Max movies. Except for Fury Road, because Fury Road's amazing.
I have not seen that yet.
For all the right reasons, at least.
But,
don't quote me on that, because as soon as I rewatch it, I'll probably be like, this movie's trash outside of the action scenes.
But yeah, this movie does not really do anything to properly set up just what's supposed to be going on. Outside of, there's a roving band of motorcycle thugs and a cop killer who drives a car called Knight Rider.
Well, his name is...
He's called Knight Rider.
The car isn't called Knight Rider. The guy is called Knight Rider. You could have clarified that statement better.
Fair enough. The way that I said it, I didn't realize that could have come across weirdly.
Yes. But... Yeah. The first scene in the movie, like the first action scene, is dare I say the best in the entire movie.
Yeah. But it does start off with a cop using a sniper rifle to spy on a couple fucking in the outback.
They're just fucking.
They're just out there fucking. This pudgy cop, is just using the scope on a sniper rifle to check out the action.
And God bless him.
It's soft core, by the way. You see nothing.
Oh, you
see butts.
There's worse implied later in the movie.
Yeah, but this scene on its own is incredibly tame.
Yeah.
By my standards, at least.
Yeah, it's pretty tame, but so yeah, they get a call in that a cop killer stole one of the police cars.
So they're going in pursuit, and it's a pretty good chase. We kind of have to gloss over a lot of it because we don't want to do a frame-by-frame breakdown, but it's an excellent chase scene. There's quite a bit of destruction and damage.
It really comes down to it comes down to 2 cars and 1 motorcycle chasing the damn thing. And it's a really good chase scene, and it gets to a point where it's in the middle of a town. Just in the middle of a town.
Well, probably like just on the outskirts of a town.
Yeah, just on the outskirts of a town.
Baby wandering out into the road.
There's a goddamn RV that's like pulling out.
but they realize they gotta turn around, so they're blocking traffic.
This car goes right through the...
Just the guy driving it is goddamn insane.
I am the Night Rider!
I love that there's one point where the pudgy cop who isn't allowed to drive because his partner got there first, and he's pretty upset of it. He readies a shotgun to come up right next to the stolen cop car, and then the stolen cop car like veers or something.
Yeah.
So once he notices what's going on, so the dude was gonna shoot him through the window, and the Knight Riders swerved away to avoid it, and it caused that car to sustain some damage. But they get back on the road with the pudgy guy driving now.
They're not out of the race.
They're not out of the race.
And for these cops, it's a race. Also, everybody has a very thick Australian accent.
Very thick Australian accent. I'm not gonna lie, there were a lot of times where I was straining to figure out what they were saying. It's a very thick Australian accent.
Very thick. I'm talking to
that is just littered with like idioms.
I'm talking to my Australian friend right now. Oi, mate. It's my turn. I got here first. Move your fucking bleeder. You know. But yeah, and meanwhile, Max is just hanging around.
Just kind of
chilling.
washing his car.
Watching his car, listening what's happening.
Just not doing much of anything.
So long story short,
the motorcycle cop, Goose is his name.
Goose is his name. No reason why.
He joins the pursuit.
And
we get to the outskirts of the town, the baby walking out. Baby winds up being completely fine. He gets
not
saved.
the RV though.
The RV gets plowed through by Knight Rider.
Knight Rider goes through it. Goose crashes into the truck like.
Well, he doesn't crash into the truck. He has to skid on the side, which fucks up his leg for the rest of the movie. Unfortunately for him.
Yeah, he breaks his leg.
The fat cop avoids getting his throat slashed, which is not the same fate that the guy next to him had his.
Yeah, he
glass in the throat.
He gets glass in the throat.
It's a good effect.
And he's permanently fucked up for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, he shows up later with like a vocoder to talk.
The other cop car stops because they're like, all right, we can't fucking go.
Either that or they do a jump.
I can't remember.
I can't remember what happened to this.
Either way, all the cars that were chasing Knight Rider are incapacitated. So they're like, all right, Max, it's your turn.
So Max gets in his car. Max Rockatansky gets in his car and begins pursuit. And Knight Rider think he's gotten away with it. And then Max comes up behind him, and then Knight Rider starts freaking the fuck out.
Yeah.
And the whore he's with is like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" It's like,
I don't want to die. Yeah, because Max has a very special car.
Apparently,
it's a very different car from all the others.
It looks identical, almost.
Yeah.
But yes, we are finally properly introduced to our main hero, Max Rockatansky.
Max's car is way faster than all the others.
Okay, so never mind. We get properly introduced to the film's main star, Max's car.
Max's car. I mean, it has more personality than Max.
Oh!
That's not even an exaggeration.
Quick, get this movie to the burn ward.
Oh, you mean like... We'll get there. We'll get there.
So Max pursues Knight Rider, who winds up plowing into the front of a truck. Like, that's how Knight Rider gets taken out. And there's a very nice blink and you'll miss it shot of a close-up of Knight Rider's face with the eyes bulging out. Which is a really good effect. It's for like one frame. You will miss it if you're not paying attention. But it is so good and does a fantastic job of just conveying Knight Rider's emotions in that instance.
Yeah, like we said, the action scenes are pretty good, but Then we get out of the action scenes and we get into Max coming to the station.
Yeah,
and Goose and the mechanic are trying to
tinkering with a new car
with a V8 engine.
Or it's a really souped up engine, and even Max is really impressed with how the mechanic was able to pull it off. I don't know what exactly they're talking about because I'm not a gearhead, so I can't figure it out. But apparently that was enough to bring Max back so that he could have a chat with the chief, Fifi, or Fief as they pronounce it.
Yep.
And he and some government guy wearing kendo armor.
He's the police chief.
Fifi?
No, not Fifi. Fifi.
Oh, the guy in the kendo armor?
Yeah, the guy in the kendo armor.
I just fucking love the fact that this guy is just casually wearing kendo armor underneath a business blazer. A suit blazer. He's got a kendo helmet with him. He's got a kendo stick. And there's no explanation as to why. That's just simply... What? Like, was he on his way to kendo practice or something? I don't know. We never find out. And I love that.
Labatouche.
That's
the guy's name. Police Commissioner Labatouche.
Well, we'll forget what his name is because he
never shows up again.
But I love the fact that this movie at least gave this one random character an odd outfit that was incredibly memorable, even though I forgot about it until we rewatched it. Shut up.
Yeah.
And there's no explanation for it.
Fifi is also great.
Fifi's
a great character too, because his whole character arc is, I want to bring heroes back to the people. People don't...
And he thinks that Max has the potential to be that kind of hero he wants to bring back to the people in this anarchic state.
Yeah, but... did we mention that the whole V8 engine's supposed to be a bribe to keep Max on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or at least bring him back in.
And bring him back in. So yeah, then we get to the next scene.
I guess it wasn't really made that clear to me. I thought that the V8 engine was there to just lure him back to the station. I guess you interpreted it differently.
Well, it says here, a conversation between Max's superior Fifi McAfee and Police Commissioner Labatouche reveals that the Pursuit Special, which is Max's car, was authorized as a bribe to keep Max on the force.
Okay.
So he was planning on leaving.
So that little detail wasn't made terribly clear to me.
No, I guess not.
Oh, that's a shame.
So yeah, we get to the next scene, and it's
Max at home.
No, yeah.
Actually, we may have skipped Max at home.
Fuck Max at home. It's boring.
It is kind of boring. It's really just there to set up the fact that he has a wife and a son, which becomes important later on. But for right now, it's just...
That's all you need to know. You really...
That's the bulk of the scene. That's how important it is. Introduce Max's wife and son.
Who they call Sprog, which is an Australian slang for child. They don't give him a name! They don't give him a name!
I thought Sprog was his name, but...
No! Sprog is a slang! They don't even give him a name! That's how unimportant he is!
What if it's a case of them naming him Sprog in the same way that a parent might name their son Kid?
Well...
I mean, that's stupid, but...
I'd fucking beat the parents and not the kid.
Anyway.
I mean, it's technically legal.
Not really, but
don't.
I mean, it's more legal.
It's
slightly more legal.
Don't beat the kid for his parents having a dumb name. Beat the parents for giving them a dumb name. How dare you give kids stupid names? Why?
I think his wife is named Jessie too.
Why couldn't you name him something royal? Like
anyway, on to the next scene.
I was gonna say, why couldn't you name him something awesome like Augustus or Julius or Galba or Claudius or Kenshiro or Maximinus Thrax or Caracola or Justinian the Great?
Because not everybody is obsessed with history, you history nut.
or Hirohito. Okay, okay, I think that was a step too far.
Maybe.
So anyway, speaking of going a step too far, we go to a town.
Yes, a town. It's a quiet town.
Until Toe Cutter's gang shows up.
Toe Cutter is, by the way, the name of the leader of the gang. Who, the actor who played him recently passed away, but before he did reappear in the Mad Max series as,
Engine Joe. Yes. The bad...
Immortan Joe.
Immortan Joe, not Engine Joe.
Oh, God! Immortan Joe. I knew it was a Joe, but the... Immortan Joe in Fury Road.
Yeah. Not Engine Joe. I'm sorry, guys.
You should be.
I don't know what's wrong with me today. I knew it was an I. I just...
Technically, you remembered more than I did.
Actually, that makes it worse. That makes it worse that I remembered it with an I. Because it could have been just Engine Joe. Oops. Excuse me while I commit Sudoku.
But anyway... so yeah, we're introduced to Toe Cutter and his gang of motorcycle thugs.
Who are all, shall we say, very ambiguous with their sexuality.
Especially one guy.
Especially
one guy. He owns it. He absolutely owns borderline Freddie Mercury.
I dare say he is gay as the day is long.
Good on him.
Good on him.
It's a shame that he's a motorcycle.
It's a shame that he's a bad guy in a 1970s movie because that makes it even worse.
But yeah, the Toe Cutters have come into town because they are there to pick up the body of Knight Rider.
Remember the name. Knight Rider.
Not Knight Rider.
Knight Rider. Make sure you look up at the night sky.
I just love the way that Toe Cutter holds the guy's face just lightly with the tips of his fingers. It's like almost borderline, I could murder you.
But I won't.
I won't.
But I could.
I totally could. Probably already did. This might be Hokuto Shinken for all I know. It looks like something that Kenshiro might do.
And he's just like, when you look upon the night sky, just remember the name. Knight Rider. Yeah, Knight Rider. I'll be sure to remember that. Guys, like, get me the fuck out of here. I've had enough of these crazies.
Yeah. So then the Toe Cutter gang get rowdy in the town. They pick a fight with this random guy who's just walking down the street. Just get into a fight. They take him into a shop and then toss him right back out. Like the way that scene is set up, it looks like they're gonna toss him through the window, but they just toss him back out through the door. Defied expectations. Little disappointing, but a nice surprise.
And they drag him through the streets on a motorcycle.
Ouch.
And
then they decide to mess with a couple in a nice hot rod. Chase them down as they try to escape down the road. It does not go well for them.
Let's move on, please.
Look, all that happens in the scene proper is that the Toe Cutter gang catch up to the car and start beating it to hell with their pipes and the other weapons.
And then they drag him out of the car. So let's move on.
Yeah.
It's got really uncomfortable really fast.
Something involving Goose and Max who get a call.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're
just kind of driving down the road, and when they spot a dude just running through a field butt naked
with a red. Okay, they were raped. Okay, let's just get the elephant out of the room. They were raped violently. Okay.
And one of the gang is still there at the ruined car.
John Boy.
Who is drugged out of his mind.
And he recognizes the two guys, because obviously, why wouldn't they?
But he doesn't freak out because he is high as fuck.
Yep.
But Goose goes to the lady and helps her. Promises that he's not going to do anything. Tries to get her to safety while he and Max bring John Boy in. John the Boy.
John the Boy, yeah.
I kept thinking that they were calling him Johnny Boy until I got to the credits where it's just John the Boy. It's the accents, dude. The accents are cool.
So Toe Cutter sends one of his men back to get him.
I think the guy's name is Benny.
I think it's Benny. And Benny's like, fuck him! He's an asshole!
Don't do it for him.
You're
doing it for me.
You're doing it for me. For Knight Rider. Fucking shit, mate.
So Benny goes. And I guess fucks around because he's not seen for a little bit.
He's not seen for a little bit.
So John Boy is at the station where Goose is tossing coins into a helmet right next to him. When some government guys come in and tell them that some lawyers come in and tell him that John's free to go. Yeah.
God damn it! God damn it! The one didn't show up. The man didn't show up. The whole town didn't fucking show up.
Yeah, fucking nobody showed up to this guy's trial, so he gets let off. And the lawyers are just completely fine with it. And Goose, he kind of goes apeshit and practically borderline tries to beat John.
He tries to murder him, in the station.
Yeah. And Max and Fifi have to basically drag him off of him to keep him from technically breaking the law for, that guy breaking the law and getting off scot-free. Fuck John the Boy.
Yeah, John the Boy is kind of a terrible person.
And yet somehow he's one of the most memorable characters because it's really kind of because he exists that the rest of the movie happens.
Yeah.
He is the trigger for the remainder of the film. But yeah, John the Boy gets off free, and Goose still has a messed up leg.
Oh, it's also because it's John's attorneys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
but that should give you that was the first clearest indication how fucked up the legal system is in this world that this movie occurs in.
Mind you, it's supposed to be set sometime in the near future.
Yes.
This
is the rest of 2021.
I was gonna say, is this the future where Trump actually succeeds at a coup?
Ugh. Let's hope that this is the alternate universe of 2021.
Yes. So Goose fucking goes to get a drink at the nightclub. John Boy sabotages his bike.
While he's in boozing and sleeping around.
John Boy follows him the next morning.
And Goose just goes on his merry way until he, at some point, capitulates into a ditch.
Capitulates. I like that.
I don't even know what John did to the vehicle. It just kind of flips over mid-ride.
He sabotaged the brake system.
Yeah.
So when it got to a high enough speed, it just it hit the brakes immediately. So yeah, Goose goes fucking flying off the road into a ditch, and Goose wakes up and he's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, Goose survives.
Goose survives and is unhurt. He's just like
mostly unhurt. I mean, he may have some scrapes and stuff, but he's able to get up and move around just freely. And I guess he calls a guy with a truck.
He calls it a Ute, who has a bike, by the way. Awesome.
not even like a motorcycle, just like a pedal bike.
Pedal bike.
Nice looking pedal bike.
I don't think any of those bikers are gonna mess with him. I think they're terrified. I think he's the real.
Agreed.
I think he's the real supervillain. A man with a bike in the apocalypse is a man to be scared of. He's not afraid of anything.
So anyway, Goose is driving off to go get his bike repaired, but the rest of the Toe Cutter gang are still hanging around, and they decide to throw
They throw the brake system
at the truck, which shatters the windshield and causes Goose to end up
stuck. The truck rolls over
into a field, gets stuck upside down. There's fuel leaking. Goose is not in the best position. I mean, he was smart enough to wear his seatbelt, but that turns out to be not such a good idea in this moment. Because then Toe Cutter goes up with Johnny, and Toe Cutter tells Johnny to light it up. And Johnny's like, oh, come on, no. We fucked him up enough already. Just let him go with that.
I think Johnny's reasoning is, if we kill him, what will the other guys do to us?
I think John Boy is just chicken shit.
Well, yeah.
Like, he loves the fact that he's in a gang and can get away with crimes. But he's too timid to actually commit most of those crimes that he could realistically get away with in this society.
I suppose.
He's a chicken shit. And everybody in the gang knows that he's chicken shit. But Toe Cutter still wants him around. And Toe Cutter wants Johnny to take that step and actually immolate the fucker in the truck. And Johnny does, after being pressured into it. So then we cut to Max arriving at the hospital, and Fifi and the other cops are trying to keep him from going in, because they know that Max should not be seeing this.
Oh, by the way, did you know we're at the half point of the movie now?
Yep.
Yeah, this movie fucking flies by. It's slow.
It feels slow at times, but it also goes by really fast.
No, you know what it is? It feels... nothing happens, but it goes by in such a quick pace. Nothing happens so fast.
Yeah.
It's amazing. This is the Mad Max movie where nothing happens. But it's still quick.
I mean, stuff happens. It's just not a whole lot of stuff happens. Until stuff happens.
I mean, something happens, and then you get 20 minutes of nothing happening.
Yeah. But Max forces his way into the hospital room, and he sees how burned up Goose's hand is, and so he decides he needs to see what Goose looks like. And we don't see what Goose looks like. We just see how Max reacts to it. And it ends up leading to him having a nightmare while at home, but not before Max exits the hospital room and declaring that thing is not Goose.
He's in denial.
He is in denial.
First stage of grief.
Yeah. So they fucked him up. But this kind of becomes borderline what pushes Max to finally quit. Because
After talking with his wife, because he keeps having nightmares. PTSD. He's got PTSD now.
But Fifi, Max has a chat with Fifi. And Max is adamant about quitting, but Fifi convinces him to take a few weeks off, take a vacation, just relax with his family. Because Max is like borderline worried that the longer he's gonna stay out there, the more he's gonna snap and just become like the other lawless bikers and such.
Yeah, and you can see where he's coming from.
But Fifi manages to convince Max to take a vacation with his family, which he does.
And it's a nice little montage till we get to the mechanic station, and then shit starts going tits up.
Yeah, because they blow one of their tires and they go to the mechanic shop to get it fixed because they're using their spare in the meantime.
Right.
And so Max stays with the mechanic, and Jesse and Sprague go out for ice cream, and then they encounter them.
Them, yeah.
Giant ants.
Just like in Frankenstein.
No, they encounter the Toe Cutter gang.
What? Wait, there were giant ants in Frankenstein?
No, there are giant ants in them. Keep focus.
Oh, okay.
Come on. What does that have to do with Frankenstein? Focus!
Focus! We're talking about Mad Max. And
come on, stop going off on a tangent.
Quit talking about Frankenstein. We're talking about them and Mad Max at the same time.
Yeah, come on.
But mostly them. Good movie.
Great movie.
All right, back to Mad Max. Were you keeping up? Good.
So, Jesse and Sprague encounter the Toe Cutters who...
And they try to... long story short, they're closing in to try and molest Jesse.
But Jesse manages to get away.
She kicks Toe Cutter in the nuts. Ooh! And Toko's like, fuck, I can't believe you've done this. Like, he has no reaction to it. He's just,
well, this happened.
Shit.
But Jesse manages to escape from the gang. Most of them, at least. Because after getting Max back into the vehicle...
Oh, yeah, one of them loses their hand.
Yeah, they drive off and find a little forest where they feel they're safe, and then Jesse finds that one of the toe cutter gang lost their hand on the vehicle.
Yeah.
Because he used a chain to latch onto the vehicle, and she sped off, and the chain was wrapped around his hand, so now they have a hand, which they take to the police. I love that the police officer is like, well, if nobody comes to claim it, we'll...
Well, nothing happened. We'll just say we saw nothing, right? Right.
Max and Jesse, they just want to get back to their vacation, but the toe cutter gang were in cahoots with the mechanic, it turns out.
Yeah, weird.
The mechanic just basically tells them that they were going to be heading north. Like, as sleazy as the mechanic comes across early on, it's not really that apparent that he's colluding with them in any major capacity until a little later in the movie, where it becomes a lot more apparent for reasons.
Yeah, whatever.
But so yeah, Jesse and Max, they go to this farmstead in a forest to just kind of relax. While Max is working on getting the fan belt back into place, Jesse decides to head down to the beach. And the old lady who runs the farmstead tells her about this guy that she may encounter, but to not worry because he's just a boy.
He's mentally handicapped. Let's just throw that out there.
Yeah.
It's like there's nothing wrong with that. And the character is only there for like a few minutes, and he's used as a jump scare. Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah, but that's about it. I mean, he doesn't do anything, but he's not an offensive character.
No. He's not Forrest Gump. He's just there. Yeah. You know? He's not Forrest Gump, who's either, oh, that's an offensive character, or, oh, that's an inspirational character. He's just there.
He's just there.
He is more of a prop than a character.
But anyway, as Jessie goes to the beach, she has a nice relax. The dog is there. The dog gets a bit worried, so she decides to leave. And as she's venturing through the forest, we get glimpses of the toe cutter gang pursuing her through the forest. Like, they're not near her. They're not posing any immediate danger, but they are there. And they are very present. And then she runs into the boy. And runs off to Max, who quickly grabs his shotgun, goes off into the
Charlie, I think it is. I think it's Charlie.
Maybe. So anyway, Max goes off into the forest to go scope out the situation, and the boy decides to go with him. Well, I guess the boy's mother takes Jessie into the farmhouse and and she grabs her shotgun and goes to check. And so finally Jessie is in the chair in front of a window. And she's starting to relax.
And then she's like, oh shit, Sprog!
So then she goes out to find her boy, and she does find her boy and the toe cutter gang.
Yeah.
And they are proposing to swapsies the boy for the hand.
Reminder, they don't have the hand.
And I don't think the toe cutter gang really cares if they have the hand or not.
So funnily enough, we get to, in my opinion, just like the funniest scene in the movie, because they're like, alright, because there's like 8 dudes there. 8 fucking dudes there. And then May shows up with a shotgun. And all the dudes are like, ah, fuck. We didn't account for a shotgun.
And then one of them tries to jump her. Well, he's dead.
Well, no, she misses. But they're just like, well, we're not trying this again. Alright. What the fuck do we do? Do what she said. Do what she says.
Put down the belly. Put down the babe. You're getting there. Getting there.
As the
puts them in her, I guess, shed, closes and locks the door, and then she takes Jesse and Sprague to safety.
To quote Blazing Saddle, do as he says! Do as he says! Shut up! Yeah.
But of course, at some point, Max heard Jesse scream and turns around running.
I think they heard the shotgun more than that.
Yeah, he heard the shotgun, so Max turns around to run, and the boy decides to follow him.
He's got his own shotgun.
And so Jesse just starts running with Sprague, because they can't use the van, because, well, she tries to start the van, but it's leaking fuel. So that's a no-go. So she just starts running with her babe down the road. Meanwhile, the toe cutters, who have an axe, I should mention, they had an axe before going into the shed, so they use that axe to chop down the door, basically. And then they go off in pursuit, and it does not end well for Jesse. Or Sprague. Or Max, who finds them.
Sprague's dead.
Obviously, and Jesse is...
Foobar.
Yeah, well, she'll survive. But...
She'll be comatose for the rest of her life, basically.
Probably.
She Foobar. She's Foobar.
Yeah. Fucked beyond all recognition.
So, yeah. So,
the doctors decide to try and... They tell the nurse to just basically say good things to Max, who is literally right outside the door and able to hear literally everything. So he heads back to the station to get that car that got shown off earlier and take it out for a spin. And it is very clear that he is not in the right state of mind.
Nope.
Like, he just has this vacant stare for pretty much the entire rest of the movie.
He's got the 1,000-yard stare going.
Throughout the entire remainder of the movie. And this is finally the third act. It's like, and for me, this is like, oh, good, we finally get to this part. The part that we actually care about. The part that the back of the box of the Blu-ray
spoils.
Completely spoils. Because it basically jumps right to this end. Hold on, I'm actually going to grab that.
Are you going to quote it directly?
I am going to quote it.
Okay. All right, folks. Just this. We're getting a special quotation from the back of a box.
In the ravaged near future, a savage motorcycle gang rules the road, terrorizing innocent civilians while tearing up the streets. The ruthless gang laughs in the face of the police force bent on stopping them. But they underestimate one officer, Max Rakitansky. And when the bikers brutalize Max's best friend and family, they send him into a mad frenzy that leaves him with only one thing left in the world to live for: revenge. So yeah, basically it just tells you the entire plot of the movie. In fact, this back of the box, this was all we really needed to read. Alright, see ya, folks.
Long story short, Max kills, like, most of the biker gang.
In some pretty brutal ways, like...
He drives a couple of them off a bridge. Off a fucking bridge! And do it, like... Okay, you hear that, and you're like, oh, well, I mean, they could have survived that. Here's the thing. Rivers don't settle very well. If you ever belly flopped onto like a cool pool from the diving board and hurt your fucking stomach real bad, yeah, imagine that. Now imagine the same consistency as steel. You would break your fucking legs, ribs, and all that. It's why people jump off bridges when they're committing suicide, so they don't survive, basically.
But yeah, that's just what happens to some of the members of the gang.
Other members just get run over, flat out.
All the while, Max is continuing to pursue the toe cutters via radio broadcasts about their positions from the police who are in pursuit.
Yep. Oh, there's also a scene where they steal gas from a truck. That's our only indicator that there's a dystopia going on.
Outside of, all the rampant crime that this game...
After...
I feel I should mention that from the next movie onwards, apparently this film series takes place in a post-apocalypse caused by a fuel shortage, which is established in the next movie. And this is the only scene in the entire first movie that even hints that might be a thing. But for all we know, they're just robbing gas because they don't want to pay for it. Also, this is a movie series about a post-apocalypse caused by a fuel shortage in which everybody drives stuff that requires fuel. I'm just really glad that the later movies don't require you to think very hard about that.
The series is dumb, but I mean, what else is new? At least Fist of the North Star had a plausible reason for why there's apocalypse. Nuclear winter.
Nuclear winter.
Nuclear fucking winter. The world went and fucked itself up. I mean, fuck. Technically, Metal Gear Solid is placed in a dystopia.
Yeah. I mean, there are varying degrees of what counts as dystopia.
Well, the thing, Mad Max, the Road Warrior's explanation is very similar to Metal Gear 2, Solid Snake, which whole plot revolves around a microbe developed by geneticist Keo Marv. I know this by memory, by the way. A microbe developed by Czech geneticist Keo Marv, which produces oil, which produces petroleum, because there's an oil shortage in the world. So he produces this, and then he's kidnapped by Zanzibar Land, the only nuclear power in the entire world. Funny how that doesn't stick for the rest of the series.
You do realize that the microphone can't pick up you winking.
One day we will develop microphones that figure out winks.
That was fucking hilarious. You decided to wink at the microphone.
Yeah.
As though that was gonna do anything. That's like in the VIP game for the PlayStation 1, where this one lady responds in the affirmative to a radio call by nodding.
Yeah, fuck off, asshole.
Hey, it could be worse. You could be that lady nodding in response to a radio call.
Yeah. Long story short, he finds John he goes into the Outback, finds John the boy
who had gotten derailed a bit ago.
And then he gets shot.
Yeah. Yeah, turns out Toe Cutter and Benny were waiting in the wings, and they shoot Max right through the leg.
And, long story short, this is where his gait comes from for the rest of the series.
They also run over his arm while he's trying to reach for his shotgun. They then try to run him over again, but Max manages to get to his shotgun and shoots Benny dead. This then causes Toe Cutter to decide to cut out.
Max shoots Benny.
Toe Cutter cuts out, and Max goes in pursuit. And, long story short, Toe Cutter faces a similar fate to Knight Rider. Complete with the bulging eye gimmick.
Yep. The dude gets fucked up. Like, there's a wide-angle shot of his corpse and the immediate aftermath, and, like, he loses a leg, an arm, his head's missing. Like, he is fucked up.
So then John...
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the ending of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You know what I'm talking about? It's like the same thing,
except on a motorcycle. Oh, we should cover that sometime.
We should cover the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series. It's pretty good.
I've only seen a few of them, but anyway. So after Max has finally dealt with Toe Cutter, he goes back for Johnny, who's deciding to loot a corpse on a crash site. Steal the guy's boots.
Okay, so we get to the most fucked up. Like, okay, the rape scene is pretty fucking...
But that's an implicit
That's an implicit scene. This is the most fucked up thing in the entire movie. Outside of burning Goose alive.
So, yeah, that's pretty fucked up too. But this scene... This is an iconic scene.
Yeah, this is inherently fucked up.
Like, this is a scene that lingers with you. Like, I forgot about the rape scene. I forgot about what happened to Goose. But I remembered what happened to John.
You forgot about Labatouche?
I guess.
The kendo guy?
Yes. But this I remember.
See, he forgot about it again.
I did. I totally did. Though, to be fair, you didn't say kendo guy at first, so I had no idea what you're talking about. And you said Labatouche, which I'd only heard for the first time like tens of minutes ago. But this scene, Max goes back to find John, the boy, stealing boots off of a corpse. And John, he tries to be like, oh, he's dead. He's not using them. Come on. Let's just get out of your hair. Max hands John a pair of handcuffs, tells him to put it on his ankle. John complies because Max has a gun. Max then grabs the other side of the handcuffs, drags John Boy by the ankle over to the overturned vehicle, handcuffs him to the vehicle, then goes over to some dripping fuel, sets like a broken headlight in there to collect it, takes John Boy's lighter and tapes it to the on position, tapes it there, and then he goes back over to John Boy. Puts down a hacksaw. Tells him, what does he tell him?
All right. He's like, that those handcuffs are tight, are double composed steel. It'll take you 10 minutes to cut through it, but if you cut through your ankles, it should take you 5 minutes.
And then Max walks away.
All while John the boy's like, what the fuck?
You fucked up, dude. You fucked up. Come on, just come back. Just let me go. Come on. Max, I think he gets in his car and starts driving away. And as he's driving away, in the distance, kaboom!
And that's how the movie ends.
That's how the movie ends.
So really, Max didn't get any closure whatsoever.
I mean, he technically got the closure. It's just that, in the end, it didn't actually do anything for him.
Nope.
He got the closure, but then what?
And as the next movie shows, it didn't really fucking matter one bit.
Yeah.
Because his character's completely different.
Yeah. And, honestly, I think the best thing I can say about this movie is that this is a decent, first act for the second movie. Like, if this movie were just the first act of the second movie, it would be fine. But unfortunately, this is an entire hour-and-a-half movie.
Dude, could you imagine if the Road Warrior was 3 hours long? Oh my god. Ugh. Oh! God damn, please, no.
Yeah, I'm so glad that they basically just condensed this movie into a flashback. But at the end of the day, this movie is really just the backstory for Mad Max in the second movie.
And once again, Mad Max has little to no character in this movie.
Yeah.
That's really fucking bad.
He has a pretty blank slate in this movie. The car action scenes are good. The final climactic parts of the film are great for just how fucked up they wind up being.
Yeah. I'm fucking amazed at the fact that this movie even got a sequel. That's what I'm amazed about. How did this movie get a sequel? It's not great.
This is the 70s. It had a lot of schlock.
I guess. Well, the movie came like 4 years... Well, no, 79... 2 years later.
What?
The movie the Road Warrior came out in '81, I think.
No. That's why you were confusing. You were just like, the movie came out 4 years later. It's like, what?
I said 4 years, 2 years
like,
later.
Did this movie come out 4 years after Schlock stopped being a thing? What? Also, for the record, Schlock has never stopped being a thing.
Yeah, I mean, after all, haven't you ever seen Batman Ninja?
Or how about Attack of the Giant Teacher?
Or The Mysterious Island.
I don't know if that's actually good or not. Because that's like 3-some hours. It's a movie split across 2 DVDs.
Dude, are you guys seriously gonna review Clifford's really big movie?
He's a kaiju!
Oh my god! Whoa! You heard it here, folks. Clifford is a kaiju. Therefore, are you gonna review his TV show then?
Probably.
Okay.
If I can find it on DVD or something.
Are you gonna review Little Clifford?
Probably not, because he's not like huge in that. He's like just a normal size.
He's a normal sized pup.
He's a normal sized puppy. It's like where's the devastation, huh? He's just a little pup. It's like nobody cares about little pups except everybody who cares about little pups, and everybody should care about the little pups because they're so cute. But fuck him. Fuck Little Clifford. Big Clifford. There's a movie coming out, a live action movie coming out based on Clifford.
Nice. So yeah, Mad Max 6.5.
6.5.
That was.
It's not a great film, but I have definitely seen far worse films. And thankfully, the later films do a good job of at least justifying this movie's existence. Kind of.
Yeah, something like that. Give me a second. I'm trying to think here. I yawned and then zoned out. That's what happens when you're tired and sleep all the time. Not really. I don't sleep all the time. It's what happens when you don't sleep all the time.
Yeah.
When you don't take naps. Naps are necessary. That's my recommendation for this week. Take plenty of naps. Cranky
If you can.
Cranky says, get good. So, recommendations.
Well, I had one recommendation, but then we ended up... Actually, I think I'm going to save that for the sequel.
Fist of the North Star?
Yeah, I was going to recommend that, but then I figured we probably should save that for the sequel where it's a lot more relevant. And instead, I was thinking today... Recently, I've been watching the Pokemon anime.
Oh, God!
But I'm not going to recommend the Pokemon anime. Because, I mean, it's fine, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Swerve, you're going to recommend Yu-Gi-Oh!
I'm not going to recommend Yu-Gi-Oh! No, but thinking about potentially recommending Pokemon and then second guessing it, I figured, okay, how about I do the knockoff, with air quotes, of Pokemon, Digimon. Better yet, I'm going to recommend Digimon Season 3, Digimon Tamers, which is the best season. Just putting that out there. I mean, first season is pretty good, second season's okay, but the third season, chef's kisses. It is almost completely divorced from the first 2 seasons, treats the Digimon as initially a fictional franchise until they start coming into the real world. It has some incredibly dark themes for a kids show, and it has a legitimately tense third act that has some incredibly Lovecraftian creatures. The whole third act is basically just a Lovecraft story set in the modern day with technology, and it is fantastic. It like I said, it covers some dark themes. It covers death, depression, rogue AI. Ugh, just so good, so good, so good. Oh, just watch it. I'd say more, but I'm kind of saving up for when I eventually review the show. So, go watch Digimon Tamers. It's fantastic, and I'm really kicking myself for not having watched it years ago before finally getting through it. 'Cause, ugh. Oh, it's so good.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, I actually have two.
Okay.
This time, I got Don Machi, otherwise known as "Is It Wrong to Try and Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon?" Very good show, very great show. Not at all like what the title says.
All I know about it is that it has Hestia.
Hestia, all hail Hestia.
And like some monster girl in the current season.
Yes! Oh my god! Dude, she is like, okay.
But that's like literally all I know about the series.
Okay, it's basically, long story short, the gods have come down from the heavens and they've bestowed upon humans the gift of powers, the gift of their divine abilities to become adventurers and explore a dungeon. And kill monsters, gain experience, and gain more powers, and grow more stronger, and all that.
So okay? It's basically just a standard JRPG.
Right. Yeah. Something like that. But
really any RPG. It's a fantasy zone.
But I don't want to spoil too much because people really need to check it out, especially season 2 and 3. Season 3 is the best. Season 3 is easily the best season in the show, but not gonna spoil too much about that. But so the main character is Bel Cronell. He's a rookie, but he is ridiculously fucking good, and he is Hestia's only disciple. Let's go with that word, only disciple. And it's just him and his misadventures, and somehow accidentally growing a harem. Not even like...
Yeah, that kind of came out of nowhere. And I knew that it was a harem series.
Yeah. No, it's not even like...
It still feels weird when you just randomly say that.
Yeah, no, like, it sounds weird, but at the same time, it's like, oh no, there's an there's one character who has no reason to like him, but likes him anyway. Probably because he's a rookie. And she's like, oh yeah, he's nice. But the rest are like, oh no, we've got reasons to like him. But, long story short, season 1 is just him growing into his, learning to become strong. Season 2 is protecting his virginity! That's literally the entire season!
I'll admit, I was not expecting that given the title of the series.
Yes! Because he is in fact a virgin. And
So wait, when he becomes 30, does he become a wizard like in that new show?
Yes.
Apparently there is a show about, apparently if you get to the age of 30 and remain a virgin, apparently you become a wizard. It's a live action series.
A wizard did it. and then season 3 is the most interesting out of them all. Monsters are starting to become intelligent and they have emotions like humans. And humans don't take too kindly to that, but Bel Cronell's stuck in the middle because he accidentally rescues a monster girl named Wine.
And that's literally the only other thing aside from Hestia that I knew about this.
But yeah, my favorite characters so far are Haruhime and Wine, because Wine's adorable. Fuck you. Don't judge.
Who?
The monster girl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna judge. I've seen what she looks like.
Yeah.
She's cute.
Yeah. Yeah. And then there's Haruhime, who is well, putting it lightly, she thinks she's a prostitute.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna spoil like her actual backstory or anything, but long story short, she thinks she's a prostitute.
She kind of like Megumin from Konosuba, where she just thinks that she has superpowers, but she doesn't.
Yep.
And she just wears an eye patch because she thinks she has superpowers, but she doesn't.
Something like that.
I've only watched one episode of Konosuba.
Konosuba.
I didn't even get to
You know what? I'm
I'm
recommending Konosuba as well. Great series. Highly worth the recommendation.
Is that an actual recommendation?
Well, yeah, that was the 2, but then now I'm adding a 3rd one.
Oh, damn.
Because you mentioned Konosuba, and it's pretty funny. Yeah.
I watched the first episode. I thought it was funny, but it just wasn't enough for me to watch further. I felt I could definitely see why people found it worthwhile watch. I personally just didn't. I was fine with just the one episode. It was a funny episode. Watch it for yourself and judge. I will say that.
Yeah.
It is pretty funny.
God, the main character is like the only sane one, and all the side characters. It's the only sane man, and everybody else is fucking dumb.
Can I at least explain what the initial plot is? So, since I've seen the first episode, and you were gonna get 3 now. Okay, so the basic plot of this is that this guy, what's his name?
I can't remember his name. Hold on. Give me 2 seconds here.
It's like I know what it is, I just don't know what it is.
Yeah, that's
I know Aqua
Kazuma.
I thought there was
Kazuma Sato.
Okay, so Kazuma, he ends up sacrificing his life trying to protect a girl from being run over by a truck. Except, she was in no danger because the truck was a slow-moving tractor, and he didn't die because he got hit by it. He died because he was afraid he was about to get hit by a truck. He literally pissed his pants to death. And the goddess who oversees his reincarnation in another world is just absolutely... she finds that fucking hilarious. And she's like, because of how fucking ridiculous of a way you died, you got a chance at earning another life. Now you can get reincarnated in this other fantasy game world, but you can only bring one thing with you. And because of how much Aqua berates him over it, she's like, alright, fuck you! You're the thing I'm bringing with me when I'm reincarnated!
What?
Yeah!
Yeah, fuck you! No!
And so the first episode is them applying to the Adventurers Guild and ultimately becoming pretty darn good construction workers. Except that's not what they were going for. They were going for adventurers.
Yeah, God. The show is so dumb. And like Kazuma's the only sane man in his party. Because you got Megumin, who is fucking delusional as fuck. You got Aqua, who's fucking dumb as bricks. And she's the most beloved character in the entire show. And, what's her name?
Darkness?
What?
Darkness?
I think it's Darkness.
Some, like, night girl.
Darkness.
She gets off on,
She is a massive masochist. To the point where she fucking creeps out a demon lord. Because she's like, I know, it'll be terrible. I'll be tortured and, And he's just like, what the fuck?
I guess it's like that one scene in Dragon Ball where Pilaf has Bulma at his mercy. And all he intends to do is just blow her a kiss. And she thought she was gonna get, like tentacles and shit. And they're like, wait, what the fuck? The fuck were you thinking we were gonna do?
The fuck, lady? So yeah, that's number 2. And an inversion on this, by the way. An inversion on this is my 3rd recommendation, Rise of the Shield Hero.
I've heard good things about that.
Which is, honestly, it might be my favorite anime of 2019.
I've heard about it. I'm not inclined to see it just because I'm not really a fan of isekai.
Right. This is an isekai I think that is done differently.
Honestly, the only reason I even watched Konosuba was because I knew it was a parody of isekai.
Yeah.
And I figured I could get into that. I watched the first episode of that.
I think, whereas Konosuba is a parody of isekai, I think Rise of the Shield Hero is a lampshading of isekai. It points out the problems with it of just dropping this person into a new world without, you know, you know what I mean? Just dropping a person who knows nothing about the world into this new world against their will. And this guy, Naofumi, he's the shield hero. He is the most disrespected person in the entire kingdom because he's the shield hero, and apparently the shield hero is a fucking loser.
I've never seen the show, but
no.
From what I know, I think one of the princesses of the kingdom
yes.
accuses him of a sexual crime.
She accuses him of rape, which never happened, by the way, and he goes off the fucking deep end, and he becomes like there's throughout the first season, there's only 5 or 6 times where he actually smiles. He is so fucking crushed, and so just like negative. He's so cynical. He doesn't trust anybody. So he buys a slave, Raphtalia.
Who is cute as fuck, I will admit.
Yeah, Raphtalia's awesome. Raphtalia's best girl, along with Philo. Philo is also best girl. Philolial queen.
Yeah, I think those are the only 3 characters that I know outside of random... Right. I don't even remember the princess's name. Doesn't matter, she's an asshole.
Yeah, well,
she's a bitch.
Yeah, there's Melty and... Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard good things about that.
But long story short, like, the other characters, the other heroes, don't fucking like him one bit. And the spear hero is a fucking idiot who believes every single word the princess says. He's one of those people. He's a simp. And throughout the series, like the bow hero, the spear hero, the bow hero, and the sword hero, like, they complete their quests and they get all the glory, but they fuck up afterwards. They completely fuck up because they keep thinking, oh, it's a game, but it's not a game. Like the spear hero, this village has a famine and they're all starving. So the spear hero, he goes and finds a magic seed hidden in a dungeon. And he's like, behold, a magic seed for you to feed your people. And it turns out it is a mutated seed that creates monsters. And so the shield hero goes and saves the village, and because the shield hero didn't get funding from the king and was basically an outcast, he learned skills by himself on how to manipulate and, like, he basically learned how to geneticism. He learned a skill of geneticism. So he reprogrammed the seed to actually create fruit and berries and not create monsters. He saves that village. Another village is swept by plague caused by a dragon corpse that the sword hero killed but didn't dispose of, and it becomes a zombie dragon. And so the shield hero has to fix the problem. The bow hero, he goes to another country and what's the word? To kick out the king. Deposes. He deposes an autocratic king, and it causes untold misery to the people of that country. And the shield hero has to go fix that mess. And he calls them out on this shit throughout the entire series. Like, he's the only character who, honestly...
actually giving a damn about the people he's
right.
helping.
And he doesn't give a shit about the people, because the people don't fucking like him in the city. People don't like him in the capital. The king doesn't like him. The royals, the royal families, they all fucking hate him, but the villagers in small town bumfuck, they fucking love him. So yeah, it's fucking like, oh, the show's so great. Show's so great, but they like, he's the anti-hero who still does good. Even if his name is...
There are, like, way too many isekai shows.
There are a lot of isekai shows.
Probably why Konosuba exists. It exists to poke fun at isekais.
Well, I mean, it's a lucrative genre.
Yeah, but it's also oversaturated.
Yeah, it's oversaturated, but I mean...
sometimes you get to, like, interesting ones, like that time I was reincarnated as a slime. Then other times... you get rip-offs of that, like, so what if I was reincarnated as a spider, or whatever the fuck it's called?
What if I get reincarnated as a slime?
That Time I Was Reincarnated.
Oh yeah, that's another good show.
Another good show about another good series about getting reincarnated as something. That Time I Was Reincarnated as Yamcha.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
Read that. We've gone on a really long tangent with the recommendations at this point. I think we should probably cut this off right here.
I guess. Okay.
Otherwise, we're just gonna go off on.
So yeah, Mad Max 6.5.
6.5.
That's really all there is to say about it. I mean, no, yeah, that's really all there is to say about it. It's okay. Just okay. Alrighty.
Bye.
Yeah, bye. Have a good time. Have a beautiful time.